It would seem Arsenal are the latest team to show interest in Julian Alvarez. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around this man right here. Julian Alvarez of Manchester City, who has reportedly said that he wants to leave the club this summer, and since then has been attracting no shortage of options as to where his footballing future may lie. The Argentine forward seemingly wants out of Manchester City. He's attracted interest seemingly from different places across Europe, and seemingly the latest team to show interest in the 24-year-old is Arsenal Football Club. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about this potential transfer story. We're going to be talking about Alvarez, the other links as well, not just to Arsenal, but to the other teams as well, and everything else in between. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That'll make for great and interesting reading on this particular topic. I'd love to hear from you all. Use and abuse that comment section, people. It would be great to hear what you have to say about this potential transfer story. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Julian Alvarez, Arsenal, and everything else in between. So, this summer, this Julian Alvarez story has been rumbling on for a while. He seemingly wants out of Manchester City. He seemingly wants to seek out more first-team opportunities. He's playing second fiddle to Erling Haaland, a positional change that Pep Guardiola tried to sort of shoehorn him into at the beginning of last season. Didn't exactly go to plan. And now he wants to see if he can be the main man somewhere else. If he can be the main guy to lead a line somewhere else, it seems. And fair play to him, first and foremost. Most players would be happy just to sit back and let other players have the limelight, and they just do their bit whenever they're called upon, and you know, in rotation and Carabao Cup games and things of that nature. I guess with Manchester City it's a little different. Alvarez is a quality player, so he will get more minutes than the average striker that is always playing behind a main striker. And of course Pep Roulette as well would also signal that he will get more minutes than most as well. And yes, it is a bit annoying for fantasy football managers, but that's just the way that obviously Pep likes to rotate and keep players on their toes. But it seems, like I say, he wants more first team opportunities. He wants to see if he can test himself to be the main guy elsewhere, and fair play and credit to him on that. Since those stories have came out in the media, and since he seemingly does want out of Manchester City, there has seemingly been no shortage of options on the table for the Argentine forward, who has been attracting interest from right the way across Europe. Chelsea, of the so-called top six of the Premier League, have seemingly announced their interest right off the bat. Atletico Madrid of Spain, of course, have seemingly addressed their interest in him as well. PSG, over the course of the past week or so, have had their interest go stronger in the Argentine forward. And now it seems that Arsenal are the latest to be strongly linked with signing the 24-year-old. And as we know, Arsenal are looking for a striker. Is this just a story of convenience, or is there genuine interest or legs in this story? Only time will tell. But it does appear from the Sunday Mirror today that Arsenal are considering a move for Julian Alvarez, but they may have to make further sales to fund his purchase, as Manchester City would want around 80 to 90 million euros. Now, we already know about Arsenal's transfer business. We already know that in order to seemingly purchase Mikel Moreno, they obviously needed to sell, and they sold Emil Smith-Rowe to Fulham. That deal is now done and dusted and confirmed. So I would imagine that the Mikel Moreno deal is going to be wrapped up pretty imminently now, I would imagine. They've already signed Ricardo Calafiori, of course. We know that they're after a striker. We know that they've been linked with the likes of Victor Gyökeres of Sporting Lisbon, for example, right the way across the summer. But maybe they are keeping their options open just in case the Gyökeres one falls through. Or maybe they see Alvarez as being better value. Who knows? But Alvarez does represent a very interesting opportunity, a very interesting scenario for Arsenal. Yes, it would cost them a lot of money, but one thing we do know about Alvarez is that he is a goal scorer. He is a threat. He is a very well-rounded striker who, unfortunately for him, is seemingly in the wrong place at the wrong time, with obviously having to play, like I said earlier, second fiddle towards a Norwegian goal-scoring robot in Erling Haaland. I think if Haaland wasn't in the picture, Alvarez would lead that line for Pep Guardiola's side and do a very, very good job of it. Alvarez is a decent physical presence. He's a decent all-round striker, can drop deep, can link up play, decent when it comes to poaching and scoring goals. He's got it all, really, and obviously he's got the main thing of what makes a striker different from the rest in terms of goal scoring. I think he got 11 goals and 9 assists, I believe, last season in 36 appearances. I believe that was the case, which is very, very good for a striker who, like I say, was the secondary striker and also in a different position for large parts of the season under Pep Guardiola and playing alongside or playing behind Erling Haaland, whatever the case may be there. And overall for Manchester City, he's played 103 times, he's scored 36 goals and assisted 18 times, which is not necessarily bad. It's not the best, but it's not necessarily bad either for a player who is in a system that constantly rotates, has played him somewhat out of position at times. And yeah, I like Alvarez. I really do. I really like him. Ever since he made his mark in the Premier League, I have very much liked the way that he plays. I very much like his goal scoring ability. And it's no surprise to me that there are a number of top clubs from across Europe that are seemingly interested in his services going forward. It does seem he wants to leave, and I can understand why. So maybe this may make it a bit easier for other clubs. Remember, whenever a player does want to leave Manchester City, as long as they get a decent enough fee for him, they will not stand in his way. And when you've got as much money as Manchester City do, yeah, you can just easily find a replacement, I guess, on some sort of level. But yes, it does seem like City may have to concede Alvarez to leave. But where does Alvarez go from here? It's seemingly he's got enough options that he can pick and choose. Or maybe it's a case of who comes in first for him, who can strike that deal with Manchester City first. Because I can't imagine personal terms with any of the clubs that we talked about are going to be any issue whatsoever. Maybe Chelsea, given their current situation, and obviously given the fact that earlier on in the transfer window they didn't want to agree terms with Michael Olise. But maybe definitely not Arsenal, definitely not PSG, and definitely not Atletico. Does it seem like that is going to be a major issue or a hurdle for them to overcome? In terms of Alvarez himself, like I say, we've already discussed his attributes and ability. He could lead the line anywhere. He is that versatile. He is that seemingly adaptable that I feel like he could lead the line anywhere. Whether it is going to be back in Spain, I think it would do a fantastic job for Atletico. In the French league, he could definitely bolster their attack, and then it's all about whether or not he could adapt to a Champions League thing, which we have seen him do, and it's whether or not he can help the PSG side that is currently there adapt more so to the Premier League. Maybe you can drive that winning mentality on in the team, because of course this is a guy who has won it all these past few years and has had a very successful past few years in winning everything, whether it be through club or for country. World Cup, Champions League, FA Cup, Premier League, you name it, this guy has won it all within the past few years. And, you can also carry that same winning mentality over to Arsenal as well. If they are looking for for players and inspiration in those kinds of big moments in a season where they just need to grind out a win by any means necessary. Alvarez has been there and done it with Manchester City time and time again. So if they want to keep that flow of experience going and flow of a winning mentality, Alvarez is definitely not a bad option to have within your ranks. He is 24, so he does fit the profile of what Arsenal are looking for in terms of age range. Like I say, Arsenal are looking for a striker. He fits that criteria perfectly. He drops deep, he links up play, which is something that obviously Mikel Arteta would love to have from his starting number 9. We see Kai Havertz do it a lot. I think Alvarez is an upgrade on Havertz in the sense of he's a better finisher than what Havertz is. So I see this as being a very good upgrade for Havertz. Is it necessarily a different type of striker? I mean, it's a more predominant and obviously much more clear striker, yes. But in terms of gameplay, it's not that different in my opinion. Havertz may be better technically on the ball, but Alvarez is the better finisher, and Alvarez can do to an adequate level what Havertz does in terms of link-up play, in my personal opinion. It's just about the finishing. It's just about the finishing, which Alvarez seems more lethal in than what Havertz does. I think it'll be a very good move for Arsenal if they were to pull this off. I think it will be a brilliant move in terms of the mentality aspect, the age group of the aspect as well. And of course, the attributes, the skills, the ability that Julian Alvarez possesses. I think it'll be a very good fit for Mikel Arteta's side. Now, whether or not a deal can be struck or not, remember there was a story buzzing around in the aftermath of Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus going to Arsenal, and obviously making them better and almost making them title winners. Or helping them towards becoming title winners, should I say, that there would be no business of any kind between City and Arsenal going forward. So whether or not that deal does stand or not remains to be seen. Alvarez, well, I say that, and then I think, well, if a deal is there to be made, a deal is there to be made. Like I said earlier, City don't stand in the way of their players leaving, as long as obviously they get a decent price. And if they can get the kind of money that they're after, in the Sunday Mirror's estimate, 80 to 90 million euros, a deal is there to be made, a deal will be made. That is obviously what is set to happen as far as what City are concerned, and that's what constantly does happen as far as what City is concerned. So it could be very interesting. In my personal opinion, I think wherever this guy goes, I think they have got a really, really good striker on their hands, and someone who can definitely lead the line as well as do other little bits and pieces that, you know, just in case he's not having the best of days in front of goal, he can create for others. He can do very well for others. He's very intelligent. He's very good off the ball as well as on the ball. Brings others into play, and I think the link-up that he can definitely display with the likes of Bukayo Saka on one side, Leandro Trossard or Gabriel Martinelli on the other side, the movement that he can provide Martin Odegaard to continue to pull the strings and orchestrate the creativity of the Arsenal side as well, I think will be brilliant. So I see it being a perfect move for Arsenal. But it will be interesting to see what happens next. We obviously have heard talk about Victor Gyökeres going to Arsenal, how a done deal may be in the works there. Maybe they are just keeping their options open with Julian Alvarez. Maybe this is just paper talk. Maybe this is a story of convenience whilst the Gyökeres stuff does seemingly drag its heels a little bit. We don't know. But and as well as that, the other factor of the story is that it does seem Arsenal will have to shift on a couple of players to make this move possible. Eddie Nketiah seems more than likely if they can obviously get a deal done. It seems like his move to Marseille is off, but of course things could reignite there. Another team could come in from out of the blue, from out of left field and come in for him. So there are definitely areas for Arsenal to go down and to have a look at. if they want to kind of fund this move. But I think this would be an absolute quality move for them, for PSG, for Atletico, or even for Chelsea. Whichever way this goes, Alvarez seemingly is on the verge of leaving Manchester City this season, and it seems like he'll have no shortage of options as to where his footballing future may lie. But those, of course, are the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Julian Alvarez? Where do you see his footballing future lying? Will it be with Arsenal or will it be with someone else? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down below in the comment section on this. Would love to hear from you all on what you make of Julian Alvarez. Use and abuse that comment section, people. Talk to me on this with your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That will make for great, interesting reading, I'm sure. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I'll see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you again very, very soon.